Whiteside here with Bayou Time, also with a live feed here on Facebook as we're here at Terrebonne General Health System waiting for the U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, and also coming with him is Governor John Bel Edwards, and so really looking forward to seeing them. They spent some time over in New Orleans kind of reviewing and assessing some of the damage there, and then they spent some time here in Houma, Louisiana, traveling around trying to assess and determine some of the damage here. They finished here at Terrebonne General Health System. As we await them, they'll be coming in shortly, and we'll be able to see them here in just a few minutes.
I want to thank Secretary Mayorkas for coming down today, and we still are in recovery mode here in Southeast Louisiana because of Hurricane Ida, but his foremost mission was to come down and make sure that we're prepared for the next hurricane. That's more important this year than it was last because people haven't fully recovered. Their homes may not have the roof that's permanent or have other problems. They may be living in travel trailers. So getagameplan.org, monitor the weather service, make sure you listen to whatever it is the local and state officials say, and then communicate what your plan is, because you have to, if you have to evacuate, your family needs to know where you're going so we can make contact with you later on. But go to getagameplan.org. And then I really want to tell him how much I appreciate him too for coming down and then making himself available to local elected officials, first in New Orleans and now in Terrebonne Parish, and we had President Chasson come over from Lafourche Parish as well, right, to hear about their concerns. And by the way, they all expressed a lot of appreciation for some things that went right. The non-congregate sheltering program, the first time that's ever been done, and it really sped up the delivery of these travel trailers, for example. But there are always, every disaster brings lessons learned, things you can improve, and they were sharing that information with us too. And the Secretary's here. He listened on the public assistance side, a little bit on the National Flood Insurance Program as well. Mm-hmm. And I know that he and Tony Robinson from FEMA Region 6 are taking all this seriously and going to see what we can do to improve the situation. By the way, this is not just here in Terrebonne and Lafourche, but these are the same issues we're seeing across Louisiana because of Hurricanes Laura and Delta last year. 2 years ago, and Ida last year. So with that, I don't know whether you had any remarks or you just take a question from Keith.
I think the governor just said it all just perfectly. You know, we came here to communicate a message of the need to prepare. People think that the worst is behind us, but we have to remain vigilant because it isn't necessarily behind us. We need to have our plans. We need to know what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and be ready. And it's also to learn from the local officials with respect to what we've done right and what we need to do better, and it was extraordinarily informative here. I also have to say we're here in the hospital, and what the hospital went through in Hurricane Ida and the heroism of the doctors and the administrative personnel and everyone here is just remarkable.
Yeah, and we saw that across all of the parishes that we've dealt with. You know, we dealt with these rather devastating impacts to a lot of our hospital systems, and they've done a remarkable job. And so we're excited about that. But you mentioned something, Governor, about dealing with what we did 2 years ago and then Ida. I know with the team of emergency personnel that we have here that we've talked about being better ready this year. Is that something that kind of came across in y'all discussions today?
Well, yeah, and to the Secretary's point, a lot of people, we've reached the anniversary date of Ida and Laura, and so people are thinking, okay, maybe we've made it past. Historically, the peak of hurricane season is September the 10th, and if you remember, Delta was later than that, and so we have to remain vigilant. And so saying we're better prepared, there's so much work that's been done over the years to improve our levees, to improve our pumps and have redundant power generation and so forth. And so from that standpoint, we are ready. But our people are not fully right side up yet. And so homes and businesses are still compromised. And so there may be a need to evacuate this year from a storm that isn't as strong as one that you would have been able to ride out in years before. And that's why we need people thinking about this right now. I do want to say that the people of Louisiana, and we're here in Terrebonne Parish, so it's certainly true in Southeast Louisiana, very resilient, good, generous people. They work very hard. And they're good neighbors to one another. We're a year into this. We haven't fully recovered. We're not going to stop. We're going to do everything that we can to deliver all of the assistance necessary, not just for public assistance, which benefits everybody, but we're talking about low to moderate income people with housing needs because they didn't have insurance. You're going to see some action on that front very soon. You're going to see some things on rental housing because workforce is incredibly important. You know, we've got 3 floors here that you can't really use, but right now may not be able to get the doctors because we don't have the housing for them. So it all has to work together, and we're going to work extremely hard. We know that a year into it, people's lives are not fully right side up. We're going to work hard.
And one of the things that's really important for us is to realize that, you know, we see representatives here, OUs and Archer Chesson, Terrebonne, and Lafourche. One of the things that I can tell you that we have taken a great deal of pride in is working together with neighbors. That's one of the things that we've seen more than anything. And so from a national level, kind of want to find out if there's some things nationally that we've kind of learned down here that we can share in other areas.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, we in the Department of Homeland Security consider ourselves a department of partnerships. You know, we are here. I've learned from Archie, Earl, and the other individuals around the table. We just finished a really productive meeting about how we can deliver assistance more rapidly and more effectively. And I'm going to take back to Washington those lessons learned and implement them as fast as we can. Yeah. It's all about learning and being stronger.
Right.
Things in the pipeline about rental housing. Would you expand on that?
Well, the Office of Community Development works with HUD, and the Community Development Block Grant funding that has been approved for IDA is a little over $1 billion. We believe there'll be a second disaster supplemental appropriation later this year in Congress to add to that amount. But we've got an action plan pending before HUD now. Once it's approved and a line of credit established, we will get to work on housing. That is both housing that is single unit housing for low to moderate income people without insurance, but also we do rental housing as well. And so we will go in and rehab rental units to make sure that that's available for individuals. That's part of the plan, and you're going to see that roll out in the not too distant future. You know, I always hesitate to make a guarantee about timing on something that I'm not in control of, but we think that that's going to happen over the next several weeks, that we will get started in Southwest Louisiana in the next several days and in the next few weeks here in Southeast Louisiana.
Cool. This may be part of that.
Yeah.
Is IDA sheltering going to stick around?
Well, yes. So there's temporary sheltering that's available for up to 18 months.
Yeah.
And so we have lots of sheltering options out there, and so that is going to continue. There's some sheltering that turns off, you know, that have all these different rules with the federal government.
Right.
But yes, that will continue. And by the way, again, we appreciate the fact that FEMA allowed the state to run a non-congregate sheltering program because we were able to deliver it faster than FEMA could have. And that's why you see so many travel trailers around. Now, that's good, but you can't ride out a storm in a travel trailer like you can in a home. And so we need people to be paying attention to that.
And again, we appreciate you joining us. What you got to see was a short press conference with Governor John Bel Edwards and U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas. They got to tell us a little bit about what was happening and what they learned today about what we can do a better job of and how they're going to help us in the future. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we have some local officials filling us in on some of the things that we need to be aware of. And we'll be right back here on HTV.